back to Road Gang Radio with Jimmy Mack, Lindsay Lawler.
Give me a minute, y'all. I'm coming.
And you, because if you're listening, you're in the gang. Take it away, founding member Phone Master Dre.
That I can do, Claire Marie, because we are live from the Fast Sports Studios with your host, Jimmy Mack. Hello again, sir.
Well, hello there.
Hello there.
Hello there. Hello there. It's Wednesday. Woo! We made it through We made it to the middle of the week. Woo! Bill Chaney, by the way, is the entry-level driver instructor, and Derrick Walker is the director of manufacturing, engineering, trades, and transportation, MEET, from the Des Moines Area Community College, DMACC. So we got the METT from DMACC. We've also got the entry-level driver instructor. We are thrilled to have both of them here this morning. cdl.dmacc.edu is where you want to head to. Good morning to you both, and welcome to the Road Gang.
Good morning.
Good morning, gents.
So I will, as I told the previous guest who had two people on, I will promise you I will use your name when asking a question so it doesn't turn into overlapping dialogue here. Bill, we'll start with you. You've got some real experience. You've got 33 plus years under your belt driving. Talk a little bit about your journey from being on the road to actually in the classroom.
So it's kind of unique in my case, I guess. I plugged into the industry at the old DMACC Transportation Institute back in 1992. And I graduated, I think, within a month of the effective date of the original CDL mandate. Back then, we had an 8-week, 320-hour course. In order to even get in the door, you had to have tools, PPE, and a job offer from one of, I think it was like 8 recognized carriers. No computers, commo by CB radio and payphones. Probably some of your guests remember those days.
Oh, yeah. The man whose name is, by the way, the man whose name is all over this show, he remembers those days all too well. Mr. Nemo actually existed in those days. He knows exactly what you're talking about. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So we didn't have automatic slack adjusters, cab over semis, 10 with like 10 or 13 speed manual transmissions. And we had to have, because of the way things were back then, you had to have a lot of training in vehicle maintenance repair, basics anyway, because, you know, it's like that airline needs to be replaced, driver, that's on you. What are you going to do? Stand by the side of the road and thumb a ride up to, you know, the next payphone to call in? You pretty much had to handle this stuff yourself. And I had a kind of a midpoint exposure in 2017 through 18. I was a part-timer at the second iteration of the school. And by then we were down to 6 weeks. Still manual transmissions. Trucks there was some computerized functionality. The ELD mandate was on the horizon. Currently, so I came back, interviewed last summer, started January this year. We've got it's a $9 million facility. Yeah. I started the week that we started in the new facility. The students now, all of the classroom stuff that we had to address in-house, that's a prerequisite. They have to test out competent in that before they can even begin the course. We've got automatic transmissions, modern braking systems, and the idea is that people come out of here with a basic competency toolkit of skills, and then there's more of a burden on driver finishing and also specialized training. Because, you know, a guy or a woman could graduate here and end up in, name it, car hauling, hazmat, flatbeds, tankers. So I don't think that even in the old days when we had all the extra time for all that other stuff, nobody could do the background on all types of trucking. So this is kind of the evolution we're in right now.
Yeah, and by the way, it's really funny because there's a pattern that begins to emerge with a lot of the programs we look at is that the people who are kind of the foundational anchors for these programs, you often see stuff like hazmat certification. Yeah, and by the way, you managed to slip nuclear submarine in there as well, too, which I particularly enjoyed. By the way, our good friend Bill is a USMC veteran as well. My brother is as well, so once, always, my friend. I have to share the same joke I always share. My dad is Army. My brother and my father watch the Army-Navy game every year, and every time that Navy wins, my brother comes to his feet and cheers, and my father then turns and says, "I'm glad you finally admit that you're in the Navy." Welcome to the show, Bill. Good to have you. We're gonna pivot quickly to Derrick here, by the way, who currently lives in Des Moines, but he's originally from Houston. Give us a little bit about your own background because, man, you have a lot of things that fall under your purview. You actually go all the way back to the golden days of playing football for the Cyclones, don't you?
I do. And that's what brought me to Iowa back in 1999. I came here on a football scholarship, attended Iowa State University. Graduated with a sociology degree and bachelor's in sociology. Went back to school non-traditionally back in 2018 and completed my master's degree in organizational leadership. I taught welding at DMACC for the last 5 years prior to taking this role as director of METT, and that's manufacturing, engineering, trades, and transportation. Mr. Nemo, you said METT, I think, when you gave the acronym earlier. Also, I was a welder by trade, so I worked in the industry in welding. I've worked manufacturing, railroads. I've done small fab shops, so I'm very versed in the world of welding. Transitioned over to transportation about a year and a half ago, and have been entrenching myself in the transportation world, trying to learn everything I can about the trucking world, and it's been a great transition. I had a little driving experience driving for the railroad. I drove a Class B vehicle for almost 2 years. I considered myself over the road then, and before I found out what over the road truckers really do. I did a lot of back and forth on I-80 from Silversville, Illinois, all the way back to Council Bluffs, so pretty familiar with Interstate 80. And now here at the Transportation Institute, trying to lead and guide this institution in this new facility and trying to grow the enrollment as fast and as quality as possible.
Yeah, I think right now, guys, this is kind of my take on things. And don't worry, I'm not going to ask you your opinion about the state of the economy or the state of the country right now. But it seems that you guys are uniquely positioned, like many of these programs and many of these schools that are kind of getting up to speed. A lot of people understand, a lot of younger people and their parents understand that we're in the midst of a titanic shift where we've moved from a division between white and blue collar to something that resembles more of a light blue collar, where we are looking at people who need to be able to both read and be able to work a set of tools. People who have to be able to write a really coherent work report and at the same time be able to handle machinery. And that kind of unique and particular skill set falls under the rubric of what is going on over at DMACC, the Des Moines Area Community College. Bill, if you could talk about the idea of you just joined the program and the program just joined. I mean, it literally is, we're talking about this is, literally ramping stuff up to speed. Talk about where you are as a program and where you want to end up, like what the end game is, what the 5-year plan for what you hope the enrollment looks like, what you're looking for in the next generation of drivers and students. Talk to me a little bit about your plans, what your vision is as we move forward into this.
Okay, so we've got a current enrollment of like 178, I think. I'm checking my facts here. Registered, 157 graduates, and this is so far this year, I believe.
Yep.
17 of them Class Bs, the remainder Class As. And we're above last year's total, not including the current class. Goal this year is to produce 240 graduates, and there's capacity here to get up to 500.
Okay, so how do we kind of do that then? Derrick, take me through that. So how do we get ourselves to a place where we are currently at 150, 200, between that number? And without, like I said, one of the problems is you don't want to create the kind of program where people just kind of flood the zone, and then you have a lot of people where, 2 months later you're sitting down with people and saying, I don't think this is right for you. How do you kind of create a world that attracts the students that you want, the students that you need, but also the students that the community needs too? Because we always talk about that. You guys are not, you serve the nation like we all do. We all kind of love our country and want to make sure that its overall health is terrific. But ultimately, what we're talking about here is serving community needs in the Des Moines area. So talk to me a little bit about what you're looking for in regards to students. It can be demographics, it can be age, a whole bunch of stuff. What are you guys hoping to attract here?
Well, we're just looking for motivated individuals that are employable in our industry, because the trucking industry, as we both know, has a high need for safe drivers. So our plan is, currently we're planning to start some information sessions. We plan to actually start those next week, and we plan to just try to get people through the doors, inform them about the program and the benefits of being in the trucking industry. Trades have been, I think, on the horizon, especially over the last 5 or 10 years, with just more and more opportunities in the trades, and we're seeing more students go that route as opposed to traditional 4-year college. So just creating an environment here to where we have opportunities for students to be able to get into the industry. One tool we'll use is our new facility. We just moved into our new 8,600 square foot facility, which we moved in here in January. This upgrade took us from a facility that was able to produce, or able to teach and produce 12 students at a time. Now we have the capability of teaching up to 48 students at a time with our 3 classrooms, as opposed to only having one in the old facility. So that's one way we're hoping to attract new people into the trucking industry. We're also going out to conferences and things of that nature to try to stay up to date on all the new changes in the industry with English language learners, and just making sure we're preparing people to be safe when they do enter the industry. So we promote the salaries that they're able to start with. Local work in our area is usually around $70,000 a year. If they're willing to go over the road, we've heard of students making close to $100,000 a year starting off with companies in the area. So promoting those salaries, but also promoting what it takes in order to be a safe driver, so that they can have safe careers and actually benefit from those salaries and entering this trucking world.
Bill, in the limited time that you've been in the time that you've been there, I'm kind of curious as to what you're seeing in regards to, is there a particular type of student that you're noticing, or do they really do come from all walks of life? And of course, you're going to see a lot of a little bit of everybody, but is there a particular kind of student that seems to be gravitating into your classrooms? By the way, please correct me if I'm wrong. By the way, Bill, also, you guys actually the training course is comprised of 2 separate courses: an online theory course and a behind-the-wheel driving course. Correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So what are you seeing in that classroom?
I'm glad you asked, because I do notice exactly what you're talking about. It's easy for, I guess I qualify as an old geezer now, so it's easy for us to get in the mode of, oh, this is what's different from back when I started in the industry. One thing that is constant is that this is an occupation, really a lifestyle, but it's an occupation that brings in people who need a great reset in their life. Like in this class we've got some young people, we've got some people who are up in their 50s. They're making the reset at that time of life. We've had people who've retired early, I should say, from other jobs who are saying, I've got 10 years I still want to work, and I've always wanted to try and do this. So I always come back to the first day. We have everybody talk about where they're at, where they've been, what they're wanting to accomplish, and that little phrase, the great reset, always comes back to me, and it's true now, and it was true 30 plus years ago when I plugged in. Am I making sense with that?
No, you're making perfect sense, because what you're basically kind of suggesting here is there's going to be people from about 2 or 3 walks of life, but the ultimate goal of everybody is either to get a fresh start or to set a course for a new beginning for themselves. That great reset, which of course is one of the best metaphors in regards to trucking as well too, because we're always looking for that reset, that moment when we can kind of take a breather and not so much take a break, but get our bearings back around us and figure out where we're going to be headed to next. That's a really crucial part of the conversation, because it means you're meeting the students as they come into the classroom at that level. If in fact, you get exposed to enough classrooms as an instructor, you begin to understand if that's a common theme, it's a great place to begin. If people are beginning at the beginning, really looking for a new one, you can kind of begin there. I do want to take a moment, take a breather here to kind of talk about a celebration. And either one of you can talk about this. You guys have an open house ribbon cutting ceremony tomorrow at 4:00, do you not?
Well, it actually starts at 2.
Oh, okay.
The ribbon cutting starts at 1. It's actually 1 to 4 is the time frame.
Oh, great. Tell me about that, Derrick. Tell me what's going to go on. What's happening?
Well, we're finally at the point where we're ready to present our building to the public, wrapping up all the projects with the building. So we'll have all our donors here to thank them for their contributions to helping this building become a reality, and kind of be offering tours and semi-rides. We'll have employers out here talking about opportunities in trucking for our former students and current students. So it'll be kind of an open house / ribbon cutting, presenting the building to the public, and also getting people connected in trucking with the right organization so that they can get in trucking and get their career started.
That's part of the sales pitch right there as well, isn't it, Bill? The idea is that in regards to community colleges, in regards to CDL programs, if you're just simply passing out CDLs, it's not doing anybody any good. Part of the draw of any great CDL program is the partnerships you have in the private sector, the partnerships you have with the public sector as well too, because school buses, there are city services, there are municipal services, community services, there are local vendors, there are local fleets and carriers that are looking for people. How did you guys go about, Bill, you and Derrick, putting together the connective tissue that allows you to be really connected to Des Moines? Now you got a head start because the college is already there, the community college already exists. But talk about the outreach to people in the community to let them know you're running a quality program and they should give a long, hard look to the students that you guys are producing.
I'm thinking especially of, this thing we're doing tomorrow is a kind of a gathering point for a lot of these efforts. And, it kind of symbolizes a lot of what we've been doing all along. And I'm thinking, we've got, you have an opportunity there for employers, even for smaller employers who may not have huge training programs, but who have need of drivers, could come by and see, why should I have confidence in what these people are doing over here? It's an opportunity to say, hey, let me show you around. Let me answer whatever questions you have. For people who want to plug into the industry, and above my pay grade, certainly, people who maybe have funding, like from the private sector, why do we have confidence that if we invested in this kind of thing, we're investing in something that's going to make things better, right? And it's fortunate for us, we've got a couple of decades of background in this, so we've got roots down in the industry, in the community. I think we've got a positive thing going on here. I did not. I had probably the best job I'd ever had in trucking up through last year. And when I started over there, I thought, I can retire doing this. I don't want to work for anyone else.
Right.
And I really had to do some interviewing, and I really had to do some examination on my own part. Is this something that I have confidence in? Is this like my next best step? Sharing what I know with other people. Is this reputable? Is it effectual? And I came up positive on all that. And I think, we've just got a lot of lines of communication going out there to get that across to other people too, including the people who would be prospective students, prospective entrants into this line of work and this lifestyle.
By the way, we are joined this morning with Bill and Derrick, and they have 11 children between them, in case you guys want to know about how people can be fruitful and multiply. Bill actually is the father of 6. Derrick is the father of 5. By the way, Bill's also the grandfather of 1. I might actually make a request for that picture. He wrote that in his bio. I did not. He said pictures of grandson available upon request. Is this the?
I do have 328 available at this time. So, yeah.
By the way, yeah, I might want to see that because I get bombarded all the time with my brothers and sisters and all their children as well too. And my father constantly shows me pictures of his grandchildren that I see on a regular basis. I'm like, Dad, I know who they are, and I know how proud you are of them. By the way, Derrick, you're the director of, I was said before, manufacturing, engineering, trades, and transportation. The thing is that it's interesting to me too because I have a feeling that you understand how connected those 4 particular areas are. Well, transportation is the 4th one, but the other 3 are so connected to transportation, right? I mean, it's just inescapable. That's why they've got you kind of directing all of this stuff, because it all feels like that every single one of those other things is so dependent upon the movement of them across the country and across the community, right?
Correct. Well, normally most manufacturers don't buy their own products, so they got to move place to place with these trucks and with our modes of transportation around the United States and in and out of the country. So working in a manufacturing facility for years and years, I understand how that process connects with the trucking industry and also designing and being innovative to be able to have those designs for the manufacturers to be able to use, to be able to produce for the trucking industry to move. So you're right, they're all intertwined. I was just in a conference yesterday, and a trucking company was looking for candidates that had trucking skills and welding skills. So those are real opportunities out there in our world and in our industry. So I always tell my kids, the more tools you have in the tool belt is better off for you in life, because then you can pull that tool out when needed to help fend for yourself and make the next opportunity work for yourself. So you can never have too many tools in the tool belt. So the more you learn, the more you invest in growing in trades, I think the more benefits you'll get with being able to move in different industries, from manufacturing to transportation to engineering, or where you feel most comfortable, or like Bill did, pivoting from actually being in the trade to actually teaching the trade and paying it forward to our next generation.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I think the American of the future has a CDL, is proficient in 2, maybe even 3 languages, knows how to handle a wrench, and also can write one hell of a work order. And I think in places like the Des Moines Area Community College, in case you guys don't know, if you don't kind of follow the geographics and the population growth, Des Moines is the largest city in Iowa, by the way. This is a big community these folks are serving, by the way, and it's a really great thing to kind of be onboarding an entry-level driver driver course. It comes in 2 pieces, both on the road and theory as well. We have welcomed Bill Chaney, the entry-level driver instructor, and Derrick Walker, the director of manufacturing, engineering, trades, and transportation from DMACC. Guys, what you can do is you can head over to dmac.edu. Just go to their Transportation Institute. If you head on over there, they give you all the information you need about the program. It's pretty comprehensive and terrific. It's only going to get better. Thank you both for joining us. We really appreciate it. And by the way, have one heck of a day, and congratulations on your ribbon cutting ceremony tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.